Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It's Sunday. The boys are in the house. Mitchell should be here. Where is he? He's sacked. To my right is Lucas. Down the bottom there is the man who's in the know with all the transfers, Mr. West Ham Online. And we're going to talk about transfers, missed targets, and more. Lucas, how are you doing?
I am very good. I've had a great weekend so far. Yeah, just hopefully some news picks up next week. I'm not in panic mode or hitting code red or anything yet, but
Yeah.
I mean, just like any West Ham transfer window, you always seem to ask yourself the same questions and wander and ponder. But yeah, I'm good. Not worried yet, but we'll see how things go in the next week or two.
Alfie, I see you've been entertained for the last sort of 24, 48 hours. Talk to me. How are you?
Yeah, I think the transfer window so far has been what it is. I wouldn't panic too much. You know, it only just started. I think people were panicking too much. I've also heard some absolute crap rumours from people on social media. Just seen one just now of some clown reckoning that Zaha turned us down or something. Just complete rubbish again. But yeah, overall not bad.
Apart from all that, you're all right. Right,
Yeah.
let's get into this then. Right, you say not to panic. I look at it a bit different to you, but we will discuss it. Why are West Ham struggling in the transfer market? Why are we not pinpointing players and locking these players down, mate? When we need players.
Because we brought in Steidon after identifying targets which he didn't identify. We
Right.
realised that the prices were too high and Steidon didn't actually like them anyway. So now we're back to square one. So hopefully Steidon can introduce his targets, Rice gets sold next week, and then we can get our business done. I would have liked to have got a signing or two in by now, but at the same time, I wouldn't panic too much, personally.
Right. The problem I have is that we start our pre-season tomorrow. Yeah, I know it's only Bournemouth, but we start our pre-season tomorrow. Yeah, right. And then the next game, we go all the way over to Australia.
Big match.
Perth Glory, and then Spurs. Yeah. Why is it that we can't seem to pinpoint players and get them in the door before we go to there, unless they're going to wait until they get back from there, which I don't think's right myself. But West Ham are literally have no players. But we look at our midfield, we have no midfield. We have Souček and Downs looks like he could be on his way out, which you reported the other week, which I'll give you your due, Alfred. You was right. And, you know, it is a concern, Lucas. Let's be honest.
Yeah, again, I know like stuff happens behind the scenes before the actual deadline, so can't really use the excuse that the window's just open, but I don't know. I really think we've been done over by financial fair play, if I do say so myself. I think it's just such a disgusting thing for clubs like us who
Yeah.
we're kind of in the middle between like being like a very, I don't want to say wealthy club because we're worth a lot, but that doesn't mean we're wealthy. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're worth a lot, but we don't have a lot, if that makes sense. So, like, and with financial fair play, with clubs like us, Villa, Everton, who are like right in that middle between like, I think we're a big club, obviously, but like we are separated from the likes of Bournemouth and
Right.
people like them. So, like, when it comes to financial fair play, clubs like us get so screwed over compared to United, Arsenal, the Barcelonas, Real Madrid. They can spend, it seems, whatever they want without any sort of like, I don't even know how to, yeah, I don't even really know how to like dive into it or dissect it. But all I know is I just think financial fair play is a huge reason as to why maybe we aren't seeing the results yet of the transfer window, because like I said, I think it's just disgusting that some of these clubs can spend all this money without bringing anything in. And then you got a club like us who we've sold out our season tickets well before the season starts. We just sold Rice for what we did. and we still have to like
yeah.
bring in this money and stuff when, like, again, I'm not an Arsenal supporter, United supporter, Barcelona, Real Madrid. I don't know their books, but I'm sure that they are not having to do the same things that we are, and they are able to get away with it more than clubs like West Ham, Villa.
But what I can't understand is we all know, yeah, us three here knew that Declan was going to leave. People that are in my chat right now, in our chat, because this is a group thing, yeah, knew Declan Rice was going to leave. So if we know he's going to leave, our chat knows he's going to fucking leave. Why is it the owner of the club doesn't know he's going to leave and then has got no one in mind? Like, literally has no one.
Well, like I said, some things, like me personally, I just don't know for sure. Like, maybe we literally have to have that Rice money hit, like, in order to do business, which I don't like.
Yeah,
and I think
that
that's
is the case.
And I think, and again, it's all opinions, but for me, in my opinion, I think that's poor from Sullivan if we need that Rice money to hit in order to do business. Because if you have to do business like that, you didn't set yourself up for a successful window. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't manage money, but all I know is that I think we're off to a slow start. I don't even think it's a slow start, but I don't think we're starting off hot to some people's opinion, because I really legitimately believe that Rice money has to hit our account to start, which is a shame.
Yeah, but our season starts in about 4.5 weeks' time.
I would say it starts tomorrow, but that's me personally.
Yeah, well, it does start tomorrow. If you want to be technical about it, it does. Like, when you do pre-season.
I'm a preseason juggernaut. You can't tell me shit about preseason. I think it's just as important as anything else. But go ahead.
I agree 100% with that. Like last season, when people were looking at the pre-season, they were saying, "Oh, it's only pre-season. They're building their fitness up." It's the biggest load of bollocks I've heard in my life, because, do you know what I'm saying? They come out of all that crap, and then at the start of the season, we're playing Ben Johnson at centre half. And the problem is, it seems like the same issue is happening again. Right? You're looking at us now. We're light. We're light in all departments now, especially in midfield. We're fucking mega light. And Zakaria, people look at his injury record. Where the fuck was that at the start of the fucking transfer? Do you know what I mean? If you're going to buy a player, or if you're going to buy a car, look at his fucking history at the start, don't you? Let's be real. Right? You look at his history, you think, right, is this going to be a good motor or not? And if it is, you fucking buy it.
Show me the Carfax.
Mate, you don't waste your fucking time on a player who's got a bad injury record. Yeah, for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, Alf, what are you saying on this in regards of like FFP and West Ham being slow?
I like FFP personally. I just wish they would actually punish teams that have gone against it at times, like Man City, who have really bended the rules. But the actual FFP and the thought behind it, I like. I think it has to be there, otherwise football spending would just be ridiculous. You would just see Newcastle spending like 500 million in every window, the amount of money they have now. Right. So I think financial fair play definitely has to be there. But I do think we should. I don't really know how it works with the Rice money. Is it because we need the Rice money to be registered in our books?
Yeah, but should we?
I think that's technically what it is. But like I said,
if that is the case, then I can't blame Sullivan one bit. If that's the case, because if it's that Sullivan doesn't want to spend money until the Rice money comes in, then you can blame him. If it's for FFP reasons and balancing books, then you
see.
Can't
but
blame
the thing
him.
is, what you just said, he did set himself up a bit for failure, because when you think about it in hindsight, he spent money last window that he technically didn't have because he was going to bank in this summer. Do I disagree with that approach? Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a money manager, so like I can't tell you.
Yeah, but
if that's right or wrong. But
I'm going to say one thing on that. I agree what you're saying there, Lucas. Yeah, I do. Right, but what is the point in us qualifying for Europe 3 times in a row if we can't even pay out for a player? That's the worry that I have.
I get that. All I'm saying is, like I said, it's all opinions, because I'm not a financial advisor, but that's why I think FFP is playing a big play in this window, because we spent 170 some million pound that we didn't have last window. Then because of financial fair play, you have to bring in that money you spent in like some sort of fashion, and that's what we're doing this window. So we spent the money we didn't have last window, and now we have to wait for that money that we spent to come in via Rice's transfer, and then spend. We can't spend because we don't have the money yet, and Rice technically is delaying this transfer because he's still on holiday. He's only done one part of his medical, and now there's reports saying that it's probably not going to be done till the end of next week, which is a shame.
You can't blame him for that. It's his holiday time. He shouldn't have to, come back early just to get the transfer completed.
No,
So
I get that, but that's why I'm saying I think FFP has been the reason to our slow start. And again, it's all opinions. Would I have spent money that we didn't have last summer? No, but I can see why Sullivan did it. But it's rearing its ugly head right now because we literally have to wait for the money to hit our account. And I agree with some people in the chat. I just think FFP, and I agree with Alfie, I totally love financial fair play, but it does seem to benefit bigger clubs than us. Like I said, like with Villa, I'm actually surprised Villa haven't had any FFP issues because they have spent an insane amount of money over the past 4 years.
But West Ham have lost a lot of money over the last. If you look at how much money West Ham have lost over the last 4 years, we've lost a fucking lot. When you're on
we
players,
don't sell either. Our selling is terrible.
Yeah.
Right,
so for me, that is my reason as to why I don't think we're struggling. I just think we're waiting for the money to hit. But
I'm concerned, mate. I'm not going to lie. I am fucking deeply concerned because if you know that you're selling Declan Rice and right, and you brought this geezer in, right, surely this geezer must know target straight away.
I think we do. I think we do have targets lined up, but like I said, I don't believe we have that money in our account yet, and we literally cannot buy a player without that 33 million, 75 million, whatever the reported upfront fee is until it hits our account.
I don't know. I look at it a bit different. I understand what you're just saying. Don't get me wrong, and I agree with what you're saying. I just think this is poor from West Ham. West Ham should be acting fast because teams know that West Ham are going to have a lot of money at their hands, and all the prices are going to start going up.
And I said it: lightning would not strike twice with David Sullivan. Sadly, like we all said, we think he done a good job on the transfer, getting us the number he wanted or we wanted, whatever. But yeah, it's just lightning. It wasn't going to strike twice with him, so now it's starting to become a bit of an issue. But again, I wouldn't say worried. Would I say? I don't know. Again,
I am concerned. I don't know about you, Alf, but I am very, very concerned at the minute that West Ham are waiting and delaying. Obviously, if the Declan Rice deal doesn't get done till the end of next week, which is reported it's going to get done at the end of next week, then what gives you guys confidence that West Ham are going to go out there and pinpoint players straight away and get them done? Because West Ham drag in transfers. It's always has been.
I think I don't necessarily have confidence that we're going to get it done straight away. I do think it might take a couple more weeks before we sign a player. But at the same time, if we didn't spend loads and loads of money this summer, it actually wouldn't bother me. I look at the windows where we've spent hundreds of millions, and I can think of two right now.
Right.
And they were terrible. I think the actual windows didn't go to plan at all. I think the one with Pellegrini, nearly every signing was awful, apart from Fabianski, off the top of my head. The one last summer under Moyes didn't go to plan either, really. I think value for money wise, we only got our butt for our bargain on about like two players maybe, if that.
Who would you say the two are?
I'd say Flynn Downs obviously hasn't gone to plan. We aren't going to get our money back for him. I don't think we will for Emerson either, personally.
I think Emerson's a cheap signing, though, isn't he? Like, let's be honest.
It is a cheap signing, but we needed a good left back, and now we've got two left backs, and I don't think either's good enough to start personally. And what we can do, because Creswell's not going to go, is he? They can't sell him, so they're going to. I think eventually they'll look to move Emerson on again, but I don't think you'll make your money back personally. Yeah. And then you've got Paqueta. I think that one in the end will go to plan, although over the full season he wasn't good. At the end of the season he came good though. Again, you probably are getting your money's worth with him, but he made a lot of mistakes. Skamaka, no chance so far. That was a terrible signing.
Right.
And there was one more, I think. Areola, not been great, really. Let's be honest. He's not even starting.
He got us to a cup final, mate, and we won it with him in goal. So
we did. But
are you saying with these signings in terms of like their resale value or just in
resale
general?
value and their performance levels? Their performance levels have been even worse. I don't think one of them's been consistent.
I think Paqueta's been consistent towards the back end of the season.
Yeah,
I think he was revving up at the start, and I always used to say, "Fuck me, this geezer needs to turn up for 50 mil, like he has to." And then he started to turn up, and I was like, "Yeah, here we go." Now I can see the talent.
And you got to think about some of these players' first season in the Prem, so I would give them a bit of slack, but I don't necessarily disagree with Alfie because he is answering it kind of like gun to your head. Was it a bad signing or not?
Yeah,
we can break it down more, but I don't know. Realistically, the way I think about it, without putting my own personal opinion into it, I really don't think we need as many players as people say. I think we need but then again, it also depends on what you think a lot of players is. Some people think 4 players is a lot. Some people are like, we need 8. Like, realistically for me.
How many do you think we need? Give us a number.
I think we need a left back, a center half,
right, I agree.
2 midfielders, and a winger, so 4 or 5.
I think we need 6. I agree with everyone.
It's too much. 6 is just too much again for me. We can't have back-to-back.
I think we're fine. I think we're fine at right back. I think we're fine at goalkeeper.
Right.
I think ultimately, Skamaka, Antonio, Ings. If we
forgot about it. We forgot how bad he was.
Well, no, he's the club ghost. He's the club ghost.
Terrible as well.
But I think we're fine at right back. I think we're fine at goalkeeper. I think we're fine at striker. Personally, if there was a gun to my head,
disagree.
I would like to see another striker come in, but gun to my head, I'd say I think we're all right just because of Skamaka.
I think we need 6. I agree with everyone that you said. Left back, covering centre half. I agree with 2 midfielders of quality. I think is definite. If not a third one, don't forget we've lost Lanzini and all. Lanzini's gone. Right, Rice is going to go, so we're going to need at least 2, if not 3, in there. We definitely need a centre forward that is coming, and we definitely need a left winger. And that's coming from me about Ben Rama. We need pace in this team, and we've got fucking no pace at all. And that's the concern.
I think we pretty much need 11, but the reason why you can't do it is because it will ruin the fluidity of the team. I mean, you can't bring in loads of players for the second.
But the problem is, though, Alf,
that again.
Yep. The only problem I have with that, with what you're saying, listen, I agree with what you're saying, yeah, because you don't want to ruin the morale of the team after such a successful campaign in Europe, yeah. But at the minute, we ain't even going to be competing in the Europa League at any sort of standard at this rate if we don't liven up. Like, we just ain't. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is the concern to me, and that's the major concern. Where if we haven't got a bit of sort of fluid sort of team morale, then we're fucked, basically. What are you saying on that?
Well, yeah, that's why I'd personally only bring in 4 or 5 because I don't want to ruin that. We're already losing arguably our biggest player in the dressing room and on the pitch in Rice, which is a huge L. Our midfield at the moment is shocking now because we've lost Rice, so we've just got Paqueta, Souček and Downs, which we'd get relegated if we fielded that midfield. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think we'll sign a fullback, although I don't think our fullbacks are great. Right. I think we obviously need 2 midfielders. We need a left winger. And we do need a striker, but at the same time, we can't sign like 9 new players. So I don't know what we'll do because we do need a striker because none of our strikers scored enough goals last season. But then again, we got Skamaka. Will he come good? I don't think he will, but we'll see.
Do you think that West Ham are putting all their faith in this new geezer and hoping that this new geezer Tim can fucking get the job done? Like,
Yeah.
because basically what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to literally find players that instantly hit the team running and hit the ground running. Like, we can't allow for, especially the midfielders. I think the midfielders are whoever West Ham sign, whoever West Ham go for, they have got to fucking pinpoint that midfield and say, right, we need players to hit the ground running, instant success straight away. We can't wait. Otherwise, our midfield, we won't have a midfield next season. I don't know about you, Lucas, on that. Oh, you come back.
Real quick. If I do go out randomly, there's a gargantuan thunderstorm outside. So if I disconnect,
No worries, mate.
I'll try and come back accordingly. But what are we on now? Are we still on the same topic?
Basically, what we're saying is like, obviously, we've talked about the number of players.
Yeah.
But do you find that it's sort of too many is going to ruin the team? Not enough's not going to benefit the team. So what is the line of to say, you know what, this is the line
for
that we want to go to?
For me, I think there's certain positions that can be adjusted in terms of depth. Like Fornals, he's always been playing on the wing, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time at West Ham. We all know he's not a left winger. I think Lanzini leaves, Fornals fills his spot. So in terms of midfielders, we add another midfielder essentially. We still have two left wingers, one right winger, 3 strikers on the books. So I don't know. I personally think at our core, obviously with no Declan Rice, it is a bit damp now. But I think at our core, we still have a good foundation, but there needs to be quality in there. We can't just rely. Basically, we can't rely on Paqueta the way we did with Rice, because we've seen Rice carry us many times. And do I think Paqueta can do that? Jesus, can y'all hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it, mate.
That's crazy. Do I think Paqueta could do that? I think sometimes maybe, but I don't think he'll never be able to do it like Rice did. So we need to add quality in that department, if you get what I'm saying. So but for me though, I do think adding too many players is a bit toxic. I don't want it to be like Chelsea, even though Chelsea just end up loaning all their players out. But imagine a preseason training as a Chelsea player, training with like 50 odd players. That's got to be just embarrassing.
I understand that, but I think West Ham are in desperate need of players. Desperate need.
Well, we say that every year, no matter what.
Yeah, but we don't really say it when we've just lost our best player, though, do we, Alf? That's the problem. Like, how can I put this right in a sort of a roundabout way? West Ham needs to go out and make statement signings of intent, like not going out and getting sort of has-beens who have been there, done it. Yeah, and they're good for a year or two. Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't scream of progression with me. It screams of a team that's getting old, getting fucking frail, and it's like one man makes a team again. Like, and it shouldn't be like that, should it? Let's be real. Like, you take Declan Rice out, I can accept that if the money gets pumped back into the squad and we've signed 6 quality players. Like, we're going to talk about Harvey Barnes, yeah? Now, he looks like he's on his way to Newcastle. That's because West Ham have delayed it for so fucking long and not put their foot down and got this deal pushed.
If both teams came in for him, he probably would have hit Newcastle anyway. And I'm actually not that bothered about losing out on Harvey Barnes. I don't think that, as I've said before, I don't like the dynamic of Barnes and Bowen on either side. I don't think it would work very well. The only reason I wanted Barnes is because he's too good to turn down. But I definitely think we can get better options.
I agree, but disagree with that. I agree with Alfie that. Will it break my heart if he isn't a West Ham player? No, but I do think having a winger like Bowen on the other side could be torture for other teams, but that's neither here or there. But I overall agree. If we miss out on him to Newcastle, there could be so many reasons as to why we didn't get him. Because let's be honest, let's say we both go in for 35 million. Is he really going to choose West Ham over Newcastle, especially location-wise? He's closer, technically, I think.
But don't it worry you guys, yeah? Because to me, but listen, obviously I'm a bit older than you guys, yeah? Because obviously I'm cracking on a bit in life, yeah? But one thing I'm going to say is West Ham have had it's the best moment West Ham's had for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Back
No,
to
I get
back
that,
Europes.
but some things you just can't some things you just can't fight. You know what
No,
I mean?
but what I mean is, yeah, we've had back to back
Yeah.
to back Europes, yeah, Europa League, Conference League winners. Now we've got Europa League. Doesn't it concern you guys that we can't attract players to West Ham United?
I think
But
we
it,
can.
it
I
depends
think
on who
we've
you're going
attracted-
up against, though. In my opinion,
I
like
think we've attracted lots of good players.
I
Technically,
agree, but if you put us up against Newcastle right now, that's a tough boxing match. That's a tough
Not
match.
happening.
But like, if you say us against Villa or Everton, I 1,000% would go to war and be like, we are 100 million% the best option. But when you got a club like Newcastle who have just got taken over, they have a shit ton of money, they have Champions League now. Like it just like the old saying, you pick your battles. And really with West Ham, it depends. Like, and in this instance, Harvey Barnes choosing between West Ham and Newcastle. I don't think it's an absolute like landslide of who he should choose, but I think Newcastle is the more attractive option.
I think it is a landslide. I think you're going to a team that are now state-owned. They've got the most richest owners in the entire world. They're in the top four. They've got Champions League football. Yeah. They're going in a positive direction. And I think it's an obvious.
And again, I totally get where you're coming from, Fever, because I feel like that same way, sort of. But like again, sometimes there's some battles you just can't win, no matter.
I think
we do attract players, but sometimes there's just clubs that are in a bit better of a situation than us that come through, and it's almost like a no-brainer.
It just seems like to me, and this is the fear that I do have, is the longer it goes on, you're going to start seeing people like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain at West Ham on a free transfer, and things like that. Yeah, I've seen it before. People in my chat, like I'm just seeing, can name off some people. Like Paul Chambers will remember this. Irish Tommy will definitely remember this. Some of the players that
turn on the light. It's too dark in here.
Right, and people will look at it and go, "Oh, we'll go for the cheap and cheerful option." Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. Yeah, that's the only fear I do have. Don't get me wrong. I want West Ham to spend the money properly, but they're spending the money properly, and there's penny pinching at its finest. I think to try and get this Tim geezer to come in, unearth talent, all of a sudden, to come in and instantly hit it from a different country is a worry. Like there's players like Alex Scott. I ain't going to go into it on that front, but for me, Alex Scott is a man that should be at West Ham.
Didn't he, apparently?
Well, whether he has or he hasn't, fuck knows. But like, at the end of the day, this man's got to be signed by West Ham. Yeah, because I do think he's a talented footballer. I just don't like the way we're doing things at the minute, and it smells of last year all over again. Yeah, this time last year we sat there, we go, like, all these players are coming in. Yeah, I remember it last year because Areola was getting literally hammered. Yeah, saying, well, this guy's on loan for fuck's sake. Why is he not signed, like done? I don't think he got signed to the end of July, beginning of August. So I am concerned. I am. I'm going to ask you this,
I could
Al.
see the Hudson-Odoi signing happening. I could see Hudson-Odoi joining the football club.
Yeah, but is that a good signing for you? Because I think that's a shit signing.
No, not really.
I think that's a good. I think it's a good depth signing, but like in terms of progressing, not for me.
It's just not. It just doesn't blow you away, does it? Like, don't get me wrong. We signed Harvey Barnes. People go, you know what? Fuck me, good player. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. It's just, and like it is frustrating to a degree, but like I said, I think overall, some people will say we're struggling in the window. I don't necessarily agree with that verbiage, but I think the reason is because the money has not hit our account, and that's for reasons unknown that we can only assume.
But do you know what? Hudson-Odoi is a typical West Ham signing. Typical.
I don't know. I think he's a solid player, but for me personally, he's too much like Benrahma, and that's not saying that I think Benrahma or Hudson-Odoi is bad, but in my opinion, I want a bit more of a goal threat at left wing. Like I need a bit more. No, that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
that I think they're too similar. Except Hudson-Odoi has very good pace, very good
what it-
dribbler. He
what
just
it-
doesn't score or assist.
Yeah. What it is with Hudson-Odoi, and I done a video on this the other day, right? Is that he started off very, very well at Chelsea, and he thought he was bigger than like his stature, basically, yeah, his status at the club. He actually wanted out at Chelsea. He wanted to fuck off to Borussia Dortmund or over in Germany somewhere. I remember someone coming in for him.
Went to
Bayern
Leverkusen.
Munich it
Yeah,
was.
I think Bayern Munich or Leverkusen or one of them clubs, yeah. And then he goes out on loan, I think, to Leverkusen and does fuck all. Yeah, he doesn't really do a
Oh,
lot.
it was terrible.
And
Yeah,
he comes,
I'm not a huge fan, but like I said, he's just too similar to what we have. He doesn't take us to the next step. Like, would I be upset if I saw Callum Hudson-Odoi starting for us in a group stage of like Europa League? No, but if we were in the knockouts and I saw him starting at left wing, I'd be like, oh, blimey.
yeah, but what it is with that is that's the cheap signing that I keep
Yeah.
referring to. Like, it's easy just to go, you know what, we'll go for him because he's a cheap option. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if West Ham do go for Hudson-Odoi, because if Tim was over in Leverkusen last year, he would know who Hudson-Odoi is, and he would probably got Hudson-Odoi from Chelsea to Leverkusen.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that
good point.
So that would not surprise me in the slightest. If Tim comes in and goes, yeah, but you know what, I'll get Hudson-Odoi, yeah, then it's a different story altogether. For me, he's not the man, right? He really isn't. I think it's a fucking cheap. I think it's poor.
Some people, I actually kind of like what I saw this on Twitter today. I think, for all we know, I think Harvey Barnes could be a potential smokescreen for Moussa Diaby. I know Newcastle are linked with him as well, the Leverkusen winger. So who knows? It might play in our favor, but in total, I agree. Hudson-Odoi just does not take us up a step. Like I said, I think he's too similar to Ben Rama. The only thing he offers that Ben Rama doesn't have is blistering pace, and they both just don't offer enough in the contributions, in my opinion.
I'm going to ask you a question now in regards to David Moyes. Yeah, I'm going to start off with Alfie, because Alfie's backed him for a long time, and in one way, whether or not people like it or not, Alfie was right. He will win the conference.
You've got to throw me in that camp as well, Alfie.
Yeah,
let him know.
Right. Yeah, but Alfie, you and Alfie, I go with the pair of yous.
Alfie has pushed a propaganda as I have not. I've stayed level-headed and
he fucking has, mate. He's definitely pushed the propaganda all day long. But Alf, how much pressure is Moyes under now, mate, in regards to getting this season right? Because it seems like people are still out to lynch him, basically.
Can you ask the question again quickly? Sorry, someone was talking.
I said, how sort of important is it that Moyes gets this season right? Because it seems like people are out to sort of lynch him from the nearest lamppost.
Very important, but what I will say is if he gets it wrong and he gets sacked early in the season, it doesn't mean that the clowns that were going against him all year last year were right. They were completely wrong. Moyes, no matter what happens now, he's done a great job at West Ham. Even if it goes to complete crap this season, he's done a great job. Europe 3 times, won a trophy.
Yeah.
Yes, he might have reached his peak now. I think he probably has, but I don't know who we should turn to. So it is important for him that he gets this season right, though, because he's got 1 year left on the deal. And you can't really have a long-term future as a club when your manager has 1 year left on his contract. It just doesn't make sense. Either they sack him or they give him a new deal.
But is it a worry, though, that West Ham can't sign players because people don't want to play for Moyes? Like, let's be honest, yeah? And I'm going to be like, listen, this is no agenda from me, because I'm going to put up with Moyes for this season, right? Because of what he done last season. So you've got to give him some benefit of the doubt. But is it a problem that we players don't want to come and play for West Ham because of David Moyes? And the staff members that seem to be disappearing from this club is also a concern. Go on, Alf.
Well, I think the thing that players not wanting to come, I don't really agree with most of it. The Alex Scott story, I've seen a few times online. I completely don't believe it personally. Other stories I've seen, obviously this Zaha one I've just seen, I don't believe it. And I think last year we attracted some very good players like Paqueta, Scamacca, And again, you were actually really sought after around Europe, and a lot of people were interested in Scamacca particularly. So, I don't actually think we've been turned down as much as what people make out. I just think we don't have the money to get people at the moment. After Rice goes, if we can't get players then that will be a discussion whether Moyes is kind of trap players, but we'll see.
What about you, Lucas, on that?
For your one question with Moyes about do you think players turn us down because of Moyes? I'm not saying that couldn't be true, but I think at the end of the day, and I don't like to admit it because I do like to think there are morals in sports sometimes. I think money still talks. Like, no matter who the manager is, if you pay someone well enough, they will deal with whatever situation is in hand. But I don't think that's completely wrong, but I agree with Alfie. I just don't think we know as much as we think with some of these situations. But do I think Moyes is under pressure? It's an interesting question, honestly, because I feel like there's a difference between being under pressure from the support and then being under pressure from the board, if that makes sense. So, like, from the fans, do I think he's under pressure? Probably, because he always has been. From the board, I'd probably say not so much, and I think that's proven with his timeline ever since he's come back. But under pressure, I
think he's under pressure, mate.
It depends. I think, like, the first 10 matches a year, that's so early in the season. But I do agree that, like, if we win 2 matches and lose like 5, 6, I would say he's a bit under pressure. But I don't know. In my opinion, I'd say from the supporters, yes. From the board, no.
I think the board are going to stick with this geezer no matter what to the end. Yeah, I've always said that. Yeah, and they're stubborn bastards themselves. The only thing I will say before I get Mitch in, is that with Moyes, he has to hit the ground running fast, and I am concerned about this with regards to players not wanting to sign for West Ham United because of him. Yeah, because that would not surprise me. Would you commit yourself to a 3-year deal at West Ham right now? The answer to that is no, because you just don't know whether Moyes is going to be the manager in 3 years' time. Right, do you know what I'm saying? And that's the concern. That's the number one concern for me. Yeah, is that there's no stability at West Ham at the minute. We've got players that contracts are winding down, and no one seems to want to sign a new deal. We've got a manager that's on 1 year left. We've got players that don't really want to be here, but are forced to stay here. So that's a concern. So, it is a bit of a worry. Mitch, what you saying? Talk to me about transfers that we can't get, and David Moyes and more. What are you saying?
So I'm very frustrated with how the transfer window started off. Very pissed off. The thing that's annoyed me the most is the Barnes thing. Like, I've got to say, the fact that we didn't go home for him when we know he's been in demand. He's not that expensive, and the money is there. Because say we didn't sell Rice, say we kept him, would we have bought Barnes after? Tried to go in for Barnes after if he was available? Yeah, so it wouldn't have mattered if Rice was sold or not. We should. I just don't get it. It's all bollocks. It's all David Sullivan's fault. Moyes is not going to go. All right, hold off and buying Barnes because we need to sell Rice first. It's all on Sullivan. If people try and blame Moyes for not going in for Barnes, then your agenda on Moyes is very clear.
Alf, what do you make of that? Because I agree with Mitch. Then you say on the other end, the FFP's hold us back. Now, Mitch does make a valid...
I think what Mitch said is right. It's not on Moyes at all. But I don't actually know if it is the case that we have to wait till Rice goes to buy players. Then obviously it's not on Sullivan. If that is the case, I don't know whether it is.
It is, but it isn't. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but what Mitch just said there,
well, it either is or it isn't. We don't know. Like, I don't know what the FFP situation is.
Barnes is exactly a Moyes player. He's literally a Moyes player. You can't get more Moyes player than Harvey Barnes.
And real quick, to capitalize on what Mitch said, as we've seen before, and it's been reported by X, Barnes is Moyes' #1 target. So to say that Moyes is dithering or has fluffed it is just complete nonsense. That is his
I hate
#1
this
target.
But what Mitch just said, which is fucking spot on, is if we didn't sell Declan Rice, then what would we have? Because we should have
We
something.
would have still tried and got Barnes, 100%.
And I
That's
agree
why
on
it
that.
doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not sure.
If we said at the start of the window, we're not selling Rice, and Rice says, I'm going to stay, I'm going to sign a new contract, and he signs a new contract, would we have gone for Barnes then? We still would have gone for Barnes.
I agree on that.
So
I
we
don't-
said we're not going to sign anyone.
I don't want to test that opinion. I just think FFP is playing a part
It just seems like
in a slow start.
It just seems like to me, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like to me that Tim wants to go his own way, and it seems like everyone's pulling in all different directions for me.
We've got to have 4 people agree as well. I don't get that.
Yeah, which I don't understand that either, Elf. Right? They all have to come into a meeting room and all have to agree on one player. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think they're all pulling from different directions. It's too early. It's too early.
Why
to
does
tell.
Noble get a say, by the way, as well? Like, why does he suddenly get to come in and go, no, you can't get him started and Moyes? What's that all about?
Maybe where he's had his say before as a captain, the board have trust him. So have a say.
He didn't have his. He had his say on Dean Garner, and he got it wrong. Really, looking back, even if you think he would have done well at West Ham, you can't deny that he's done crap at West Brom.
Yeah, but for all we know, if he did stay at West Ham, he could have been a solid player.
Yeah, but you could just say that about every transfer. Then, like on
True.
paper, that transfer's gone to complete plan. We sold him for coming up to 20 million, and he's been shocking. We could probably buy him back for 2 million. He's been that bad.
Do you reckon that Noble's in there, Alf, as a puppet, so he can be the spokesman for the fans? That's basically what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think he'd leave if that was the case, because I think he could still support West Ham in so many ways and not be a part of the club.
I think he'd rather
been a bit up though, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think you'd rather him be in there, knowing what's going on, rather than him sitting away from it. Like, I think that would kill him even more.
I think, but what I'm saying, I think puppet may be a strong word.
Yeah, puppet? I don't think he's I don't think. Yeah, maybe a puppet. Well, I don't think he's a puppet, right? But I just feel that like it's just a lot of fucking issues, mate. A lot of issues going on at West Ham at the minute, and I never forget what Gio said to me. He said, "I fear for this year." And he said it to me straight, and I was like, "Yeah, I actually agree."
I'm not worried at all until first day comes. I'm not worried because anything could happen. We could just have a flurry. We sell Rice, and then all of a sudden we put inquiries for 3 players, no targets, and they all accept it, and then bang, they're all in it. Then they all come in within a week, and happy days. It's all good. There's no point stressing that now.
Elite Analyst made a good point, Fever. He said, when it's looked like things were going to go bad under Moyes, they've gone really well. For example, when we played Newcastle a couple of years ago and lost on the first day 2-0, everyone thought we were going to go down. We finished 6th. Last season, at the end of the season, everyone thought everything had gone completely wrong. We won the conference. But when we all had high hopes, we didn't actually end up doing that well. An example being at the start of last season, I saw some people putting us in the top 4, top 5, and obviously we came 16th or 15th or whatever it is. 14th.
But transfer window's different.
14th, yeah.
But what I actually think, Mitch, is sometimes Moyes works better with players who aren't these superstars that you have to pay a lot of money for. Barnes ain't
the superstar you have to pay a lot of money for. Barnes is the sort of player that would come in and do well straight away.
He's not. But I just mean when people are saying we've got to spend 130 million or something, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I'm intrigued to see if Steiden can get some cheaper options that will actually be better value for money.
Yeah, but I just feel that a lot of people, and this is what I keep hearing about Steiden, everyone's putting the pressure on him. All the pressure is on this geezer to find talent. Now, if we go and find talent and they're shit, then we are fucked, gentlemen. I am not going to lie.
I don't think people should be putting the pressure on him, because at the end of the day, for all we know, Newman could have had a lot of targets, but Sullivan just said, no, that's too much money. Or Moyes could have turned him down. But at the end of the day, I think Steiden, his resume proves true that he's good at his job. And really, it all comes down to the guy that signs the checks and the guy that manages the team. So I think Newman and Steiden have done their jobs. It just comes down to
difference is I'm slightly worried because X said something the other day about a target that Tim Steiten's recommended. He's some weird fucking Chilean
That's it.
Lovely. That's what we want to see.
Prodigy. Yeah, but that's like a fucking James Snedden like scouting recommendation. We don't need that, do we?
No, it might be a good one. Like for example, Brighton do that all the time, and they're going to make big bucks. I think it's about time we do it.
You can't win.
I think it is about time we start doing that.
You can't win. People are either going to complain about
but we don't need to. The thing is, we don't need teams like Brighton and Brentford can do it because they haven't got the funds. We don't have to. We can spend.
We're in complete trouble with FFP, so we might have to go for these cheaper options.
Not if we sell Rice.
Well, even if we sell Rice, apparently we're not in a great position.
But why though, Alf?
Because the fact that when people say Sullivan doesn't spend a lot of money, to be honest, it's a myth. He has spent a lot of money over the last few years.
He spent the money we didn't have.
I agree with you on some things. He spent money on shit players. I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, but we always seem to go for the people who are well renowned and all of this. I'm actually happy to see some unknowns come in.
So let me ask you this question. Well, let me ask
Depends
you this
what
question.
position they play though. As a 6, we can't go for some unknown random fucker. If
I
it was
agree
like a
with
left back possibly, or a winger, or a striker, then we could.
See, I agree on that. Yeah. Let me ask you this question. So, is it really worth us selling Declan Rice? Because the way I look at this, right? If he wants
to go.
Yeah, but whether he wants to go is irrelevant. He plays for West Ham United Football Club. He's under contract.
Yeah, but he's done great stuff for us. The club are going to.
I get that, Alf. I really do. Yeah, but what is the point in selling our best player, waving him out the door, and then we're signing like people who are unproven and a risk?
Because we're going to have loads of money to spend in the future, if not this year. If we sell him next season, then we'll be fucked.
We would have got 25 quid and a couple of Freddos, and then we would have been even more in trouble with FFP.
Right, which is true, right? But then I do fear the worst with us at the minute because I'm like, well, fuck me. Right, this is, you're taking the heartbeat out of West Ham at the minute, and then who else have we got who can galvanise this team? We ain't even got a fucking captain, an on-field captain. Like, there's a lot of issues, gents. I'm not going to fucking lie.
Yeah, we need to get lively in the transfer window, like big time, in my opinion.
So, how many, Mitch, do you want to see on August the 12th?
We will once that money hits the account.
How many players do you think West Ham will have on August the 12th when we start?
I'd say 2. By August 12th, I'd say 2.
Oh, fucking hell, man. There's still not enough for me.
But the problem is, like, nothing's close. The talks have been so embarrassing.
And that is the fear.
What I don't fucking get, and this really pisses me off, it's not even about Rice getting sold. Apparently, all of a sudden now, the issue with Zakaria is his injury record. Well, fucking, you knew this a month ago, you silly cunts. And it pisses me off. Like, you don't have to wait for Rice to be sold to find out, he's been injured 15 times in his life, which I didn't fucking realise. 15 times in his career, that is a worry. I didn't realise it was as bad as that. And then second of all, ward-prowse, his wages are too high. You fucking knew that before like end of the season anyway, so I don't get it.
No, but what it might be,
now that
Steiden's in, he's gone, hang on, we don't need Zakaria. He's been injured 15 times in his life, and Sullivan's gone, oh yeah, good point. I didn't see that.
Let me ask you something. I was going to ask you this question.
It surprised me, actually.
Before we sort of come towards the end, yeah? Who's signing these players in regards to the future? Are they Moyes' signings or are they Tim's signings for the future beyond Moyes?
Depends who we sign.
Bit of both. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Sullivan came up with our original shortlist. It was that bad, but
I mean, if Palin is signed, that's got Moyes all over it saying he wants the best 6 to replace Rice. If it was, some Chilean fucking prodigy, then it's
interesting because in my opinion, or not actually, no, it's kind of a known fact, but the Czechs and the Germans are quite friendly with each other, and for all we know, that could have been a Kretinsky signing right there, Steiden, for the future for when he takes over. So
Yeah.
I agree with Alfie. I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think Steiden might let's just say we'll call it 6. We bring in 6 new players. I wouldn't be surprised if half of them were for the future under Kretinsky, and half of them were for right now Moyes signings.
How many are before August 12th though, Lucas?
August 12th? Shit.
Which is
how many weeks is that?
4.5 weeks away.
1, 2,
Nearly
3. 4.5. I think we'll get Zakaria in.
Do you think we'll get Zakaria, Lucas?
Yeah.
I think he'll get done.
Steiden likes him.
I hope not at this point. 15 injuries in his career, that is terrible. I thought it was going to be way less.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny or nothing, yeah. We all fucking know that, yeah. People on Twitter who like fucking nerds and they're 15 years old would know the fucking stats on the geezer. So how comes the geezers who own the club don't know the stats on the geezer and they look it in there?
This is what I said a minute ago. This is why I'm getting frustrated. I get if we're going to go for a loan, but I can't see us signing a good 6 as another 6. I can't see us getting Zakaria on loan and then going for someone like Onana or Alvarez as well. I feel like if we was to get Zakaria, be on loan, and then we look at other positions. So just knowing Sullivan and Moyes, I'd be worried. Like if we was to sign Zakaria, Zakaria would be a good addition, very good addition. But he's so risky in his record.
We say
can't be
he's been injured 15 times, but his biggest injury was a Juventus in 1920. Which was a knee injury. He was out for 21 games. But after that...
Was that last season for a long time?
No, he just didn't play.
No, he was injured for quite a bit.
He missed 4 games. That's not a lot. He's missed his one since 2021. Like I just said, he's missed a total in a couple years. Let's see. He missed 4 games last season, 2 the year prior.
4, yeah.
I don't know. I think when you add them all up and you divide it, it's really not.
But
as
you
much
know,
as
if he was the fact he didn't play, he's probably why he didn't get fucking injured. If he came to us playing regularly, our injury record as a club anyway, whether it be the facilities or the medical staff, he'll just get injured in the 5th game of the season.
We go for him, if we go for Sander Berg, I will go fucking berserk.
Oh, he's not that bad.
I will go absolutely fucking teetotal.
I will go berserk. I will go. James, me and you will go berserk.
I'd take a bit.
I will be literally smashing things up in his
Rice
fucking
replacement. You take him, yeah.
You take him as a Rice replacement, Alf.
Yeah.
You're on drugs, mate. Fucking please, love the drugs. Fuck me.
He's cocaine.
Shit. He's shit.
I don't think he is. I'm a big.
I think now, if Paladin is too much, if Alvarez is fucking too much, just go for. If Onana's available for quote 35 million, I would now go for Onana.
Why is he so cheap? Can someone tell me?
Who?
Onana.
Because apparently Onana wants to leave. I don't really get it.
No, I know what it is.
Is it FFP with them?
No, yeah, their FFP is terrible. But I heard from a good source, same source that came out with the Alex Scott story. Apparently, Onana's had an argument with the Everton manager.
Is he?
According to the people who came up with the Alex Scott story.
Whoever they are. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. I'm going to say, to sort of round this up, because we're going to go for another 7 minutes and we're going to wrap. I'm going to say that West Ham getting 3 players before the window, before the start of the season on August the 12th.
If I had to predict, I don't think we're getting a left back. I think we should. I don't think we'll bring in a left back. We'll bring in a center half. Yeah. I think we'll bring in 2 midfielders, and that's it.
You don't think bringing any forwards this window?
I think he's going to. I think he's going to push. I think he's going to push. Was it? Who's he going to do? That's Obama. It. Yeah, that's the geezer. 100%. That's the man he's going to push forward.
Would anyone here take? Let me think of an average striker. What sort of striker would you be looking at? Not because obviously we're not going to pay big bucks for one. So,
bro, yeah.
What is big bucks to you?
I think
Roma
max
alone.
we're paying 15, 20 million for one. Max.
I
I think we won't even pay
I
that.
would go and test the water for Broja, mate. I really would. Yeah. I think when people say about the injury, fucking Angelo Bonner had a fucking bad injury and he come back and he was all right. And I watched him this time last season at pre-season, and I said to you guys when I watched him, I said he's gone. Yeah, and he come back and he seemed to. Let's be honest, some games he was all right. People are
I'd
saying
go for Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal.
Oh, I'd go for a
Honestly,
Pender. I'd go for a Pender.
I've never watched him.
would you go for Traore?
Pender or fucking
That-
Balogun.
He sounds like a Pokemon.
Balogun.
Would you
Who
go
sounds
for-
like a Pokemon?
A Pender.
Would you go for?
You haven't watched Pokemon a day in your life.
Well, I know he hasn't.
I used to play it all the time.
Then you would
Right.
know that's a shit Pokemon name, and it would never be one.
Or
I
Pender.
think it is.
I don't think
Right.
it does either.
Would you go for Traore?
Adama,
I think he'd be a great option off
No.
the bench.
great backup for Bowen, 100%.
I can't keep hearing this back. Whenever we say, "Oh, let's sign," he'll be a decent backup.
Would you
It
have
never
Hugo go back?
Yes.
Big
Bring
up
He would be
Steve.
George
cheap. His wage
back.
saying extortionate. 100%.
Fucking
This
No,
backup
fuck.
thing never works because someone always ends up getting an injury and then they come into the team and they aren't that good. A perfect example is Cornet. We'll be like, "Oh, it'd be a good rotation option." He's been
I
used.
thought Cornet would start last season.
I didn't because I didn't think the dynamic would work. But anyway, he has been crap.
Yeah,
Like, absolutely
But
tosh.
Cornet's situation's been taken completely out of his hands, let's be fair.
yeah.
What, being offside not all the time.
It wasn't offside, though, in the first 5 games of the season.
Oh,
Right.
that new offsides rule I was talking to you guys about. It's not going to be in the Prem this season, but if it was, Cornet would cook with that new offside rule.
Oh, fuck
He
hell,
would
mate.
cook.
Right, Steve Bell. Thank you very much. $4.99 from
Thank you,
Stevie Bell.
Steve.
Big up, Steve, man. Right, I've got to get to this. Get Lingard. Not even joking. If we go for Jesse Lingard, I'll be fucking fuming. Absolutely fuming.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I would be
Yeah.
the most emotionless man towards him of
Mate,
all time. I don't think
yeah,
I could celebrate a goal from him again.
The amount of shit that we had with Forest fans last year over that twat. Do you know what I mean? No,
yeah,
not for
we'd
me.
have to do a space, wouldn't we, James? We'd have to
Oh,
do a
fuck.
space.
Fucking space.
We'd have
Right.
to invite that Journo back on.
Well, we will
Here you go,
do
here's the
that.
situation. So,
Go on.
say Arnautovic randomly said, I'd love
No.
to go back to West Ham, and I'd
Bring
love
him
a
back.
1 or 2 year deal.
We
And
was-
No.
come for
we was a
dirt cheap.
retirement. We was a retirement home fucking 10 years ago. Like
That's
we're not the
a
retirement.
banter signing.
Ah,
Complete
yeah.
banter
As
signing.
a
I'll-
business signing, definitely not. But
I'll tell you
my
who could
heart,
come in
my
and
heart
fix
says yes.
everything.
No
Go on.
well-run club would do anything as stupid as that. If
Mr.
Brighton
Vlasic.
done that,
Oh,
think the
mate,
Ball
that-
City would go
I
to
knew
lot.
he was going to talk about Vlasic. I see a comment in there. Yeah, I was like, he's going to mention fucking Vlasic, mate. I was
Let
like,
him cook.
"No, let him cook. Fucking, do you know what I mean? We're going to let others
Cook
cook.
what?
so-
He'd cook beans on toast, and that is the best.
That's
he
what I
can
was
do.
going to say.
Oh, you love.
That's what I was
Well,
gonna
that's
say.
actually a bad joke because you rate beans on toast highly. So
But it's
Mate.
not. It's shit cooking, though.
Listen, when you're on poverty food, mate, beans on toast, it's like a 3-course meal, mate, 100%.
how can it be how can that be shit cooking but it tastes good? That don't
tastes
make
alright, mate.
sense.
You don't like
McDonald's.
beans? You don't like beans, do you, Lucas?
I like beans, not on toast. Yuck.
Oh yeah, I
Do you think
remember you
McDonald's
saying.
is good
saying.
cooking, Lucas?
This is why
No,
you
but
need
it
to know
tastes good. That's all
Exactly.
that matters. It tastes
There
as
you
long as
go.
it tastes good, it don't matter. So let them cook.
Bro.
But it wouldn't taste good though either.
I just done you right there. Just leave it.
Right,
Bruv.
right, we're gonna wrap this up right here, yeah. But before I go, I just want a quick number. How many players are we signing from now till next Sunday, next week? Any?
Mm.
Zero.
I'd say none.
I agree with Mitch. What you saying, Alf?
0.
Lucas, come on, give me some positivity.
With the news I've seen from X, I would bet next week, not this week.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna find out. But let's wrap it up there. Lucas, wrap it up for us, son.
Thank you everyone for watching. I think we had like 140 people in here at one point, so we appreciate all your participation and your viewership. Thank you, Steve, for the £5 donation. It is much appreciated.
Yes, man.
And if you haven't already, people, please like, subscribe, drop a comment after the video's done. If you want to become a member of the channel, a link is in the description. And yeah, that's about it. You guys have anything else to say?
Come on, you
yeah.
Irons. Please sign some
Actually, yeah.
fucking players.
Bid 40 million for Evan Ferguson.
The whole show,
That's
I
enough.